It's the 2K Sports pregame show, sponsored by Kia.
Hello, everybody. Ernie Johnson here with Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. Great to have you with us on 2K Sports. The action tonight will be happening out in Los Angeles, where the Clippers will be going up against the San Antonio Spurs. Checking out the Spurs. Prior to the game, Coach commented on their level of confidence in the locker room, and he feels that they are prepared with a very strong game plan at the various matchups. We'll be watching Pau Gasol play in this one. What do you think? Is Pau Gasol a Hall of Fame player?
Well, I don't know what it really takes to become a Hall of Fame player, Ernie, but I do know he's a two-time NBA champion. He's got better numbers than Bill Walton, and Bill Walton is in the Hall of Fame, so you never know.
Is that Bill Walton hating? I'll say this. Typically, the guys who get in,
Welcome, everyone, to another presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. Our broadcast team tonight, on one side, Greg Anthony. On the other side, Steve Smith. On the sideline, David Aldridge. I'm Kevin Harlan. Here at the Staples Center, the fans here in Los Angeles amping up for the Clippers. Now it's ended down to David Aldridge, standing by from the...
Guys, Doc Rivers has the dual role of coach and GM with the Clippers.
Thanks, DA, and it's probably easier to straddle those roles when the mandate is win now. That's a coach's mentality anyway. In this game, pitting two conference rivals against one another. A little extra riding on this one. We'll see it, too.
Yeah, you'll see, because the game will get a little chippy, a little physical, and both of these teams understand they both can't get to the conference finals.
Oh, talking out there, too, huh?
Yeah,
were you a talker?
Big talker.
Were you?
Yes, I loved it.
Plus, you're in broadcasting. I see the connection. I finally have figured it out. And the starting group for the Spurs, Parker and Green, the tried and tested backcourt. Leonard and Aldridge, the two stars at the 3 and the 4. And it's Gasol at the pivot spot, manning the middle. The San Antonio Spurs able to put the first points up on the board. And the call will be against LaMarcus Aldridge. That's his first foul. Baamute with it. Back to Paul. Pass to Griffin. Paul with the ball. Now Green defending. And Baamute, the pass to Jordan. Connects on the open J.
When you lose sight of DeAndre on defense, you're in trouble. He's a huge target that can score easily when given the opportunity.
Now here's Aldridge. From 10 feet out, and he nails the jumper.
And boy, did he ever sell the pump fake. Worked to absolute perfection.
There's the dish to Redick. We've played just over a minute here in the first.
Tell you what, the defense got lucky there because you know he could hit it from mid-range.
Nobody near Parker. Hits the three-point bomb. Parker's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Green against Redick. Here is Baamute, and airballs the triple. That one was way off. The Spurs have gotten their first 3 shots to go in for him to start off this game. Aldridge against Griffin. Here's Leonard, and it's blocked by Jordan.
DeAndre is simply one of the most electrifying shot blockers in the game. If you put up a shot around him, you better put it up high.
And that's how you take the steal and turn it into a transition opportunity.
Great defense resulting to immediate points. Head up, and as soon as he gets it, the ball is gone.
Spurs have gotten 4 of 6 field goal attempts to drop in the first quarter. And Chris Paul has been in the league long enough now for many fans never to get to see just how he was when he was a younger player. Steve, in a word, he was scary with his athleticism.
Yeah, Chris Paul has done a nice job of being able to play at a high level. And yes, he's getting older. He's had some injuries. But he's one of those guys, yes, you would love to have your athletic ability, but he can still be a top of the game with his smarts and his ball handling, the way he plays. So he doesn't have to be a high flyer to affect the game. That's Chris Paul.
And this last offseason, Pau Gasol coming over to the Spurs in free agency, it seems to be the exact kind of player that the Spurs would want on their team, especially with his basketball IQ. Pau liked the fit as well, and it didn't take long for him to join San Antonio.
San Antonio leading by 7. Parker outside. To shoot. Here's Green. Jordan with the rebound. And for Gasol on the Spurs, it was actually another Gasol that was prompting Pau to join the team. His brother Mark told him, go to San Antonio.
Yeah, and what is strange is that Mark is very much on a team that rivals the Spurs. So I don't think Mark was doing it just so he could battle his older brother 4 times a year. I think he meant what he said with the Spurs. They are a great organization and would probably make the best fit for Pau at the end of his career.
Here's Aldridge. And it's blocked by Jordan. And finished off by Gasol. So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles. And for DeAndre Jordan, the story with his fallout with the Mavs seemed to dominate all news around him for so long. Smitty, fortunately, the further away he gets from that debacle, the more fans will let it kind of slide into history.
I love the way DeAndre benefit from just being locked in on the basketball court. Very productive this year. And you know, yes, everything that happened in the offseason, but it didn't carry on into the regular season. He had a fantastic year.
Yeah, just frustrated by their lack of production offensively, and I can't blame them. I mean, they're getting the looks, but the shots just aren't falling.
They should consider trying to get closer to the basket. Right now, the shots they are attempting are just clanking off the basket.
And it's a completely new group for Los Angeles. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Dwayne Dedmon's checked in for Gasol. Kyle Anderson comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. Manu Ginobili's checked in for Daniel Green. And it's Mills in for Parker. First quarter of play and just over 3.5 minutes in. Rivers dishes to Pierce. No good off the back of the rim.
He's usually money from mid-range, but the defender got up in his shirt, took him out of rhythm.
And Mills kicks to Anderson. On the left block. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. And the relationship between a coach and his players, so critical, obviously, to a team's success. What qualities, Steve, in your mind, make a great coach?
Well, I think the coach, first of all, has to be a great X and O's, but then I think he has to have a great feel for different personalities. Then I think he has to build the right culture that fits everybody.
That free throw good from Anderson.
And the continuity for the Spurs, really, it's pretty amazing. I mean, that trio of Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan, the most successful trio in the history of the NBA.
Both free throws good from Anderson. And for the Spurs, their star players have all taken less, Greg, in free agency in order to stay in San Antonio.
Yes, earning bigger markets and bigger paychecks. It's a family atmosphere in the Spurs organization. It's rare to see a single player start and finish his career with one team, much less 3 teams.
And And they call over the back here. Too much contact.
Yeah, no doubt about that one with the over-the-back call. And among NBA bigs, he is known for his ability to deliver at the free throw line.
1:52 left here in the opening quarter. Now here's Mills. He's guarded by Rivers. Anderson passes to Mills. Here's the floater.
Whether they win a title or not or go deep in the playoffs, this has certainly been a fantastic era for the Clippers. Always competitive, the most sustained success they've ever had.
This is his first free throw of the game.
And converted more than 4 out of every 5 free throw attempts last year. So just solid at the line.
And he knocks down the first one.
Well, he certainly came out swinging. Only the first period, he's already picked up 2 fouls. Might need to ease up a bit now.
The Clippers shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the night.
And looking at last season's numbers, down below 70% as a team from the line. And not what we're accustomed to seeing from him at all from the free throw line.
On the night, he's gone 2 for 2 at the stripe. Free throw good. Mills.
And doing a good job getting to the line and capitalizing.
Both shots good from the stripe.
You just have to be more disciplined. I mean, too many fouls and free throw attempts for the opponent.
Clippers trail by 11. Now Rivers. And Patrick Mills gets that whistle that time.
I look at Austin Rivers, a guy who came to this league where you said he's a scorer, needed a basketball in his hand. But right now, he is a viable combo guard coming off the bench. Can run your team offensively at the point guard position, guard both positions, and he can still score.
Out of bounds, the Clippers take possession.
And you know what? His mind's playing tricks on him right now because he's not going to live that one down easily.
Los Angeles has gone 0 of 2 from deep here. There's the pass to Johnson. Back to Rivers. Dishes to Spates. Knocks it loose. Ginobili with the steal. In transition, here comes San Antonio. Ginobili leading the charge.
Defensively, they've got to pick up the intensity. Hard to win surrendering this high a field goal percentage.
And for Rivers, Steve, you could argue that uncertainty hampered his growth early in his career. He seems much more at home and is playing with a lot more confidence. You can just see it on the floor.
Yeah, I think for him is the game has slowed down. And you talk about confidence. Yes, he's usually coming off the bench, but he has the confidence like a starter, and that's what you love about Austin Rivers.
Raymond Felton, he's checked in for the Clippers. For San Antonio, they have been at their finest form at the free throw line tonight. 8 attempts, 8 makes.
And they had a lot of success a season ago as a team, hitting about 80% of their free throws.
So many great players have played for the Clippers, but right now we could be watching 2 of the all-time best with Paul and Griffin definitely on the short list for the title of all-time greatest Clipper players.
I totally agree with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. Those 2 definitely can claim as one of the best Clippers to ever play the game. But you also have to count back to when the Clippers were the Buffalo Braves. You could throw a name like Bob McAdoo in there.
Here's Mills after Wesley Johnson's bucket. Count it. Mills has got 8 points.
This is as good as it gets for a first quarter in terms of shooting the basketball.
Here's Pierce. Anderson with the block. And Mills with a clear path to the hoop. The rebound by Johnson.
You know, the alley-oop is a great play when it works, but boy, when it doesn't,
it is ugly.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Austin Rivers, the son of a famed player and basketball coach Doc, making an impact in this league with his overall play.
And there's a foul. It's on Maurice Spates. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line.
You know, right call. Gave the officials no choice there. I mean, they've got to make that call over the back.
For San Antonio, they haven't made a mistake at the line yet. 10 of 10. And he makes both free throws. Passes it to Felton. Gets it off. The first quarter concludes in a double-digit lead on the scoreboard. Spurs lead by 14. We'll get right back to the action when we return. You talk to Chris Paul, and it's clear.
Fortunately, I've always been vertically challenged.
Vertically challenged, that's classic coming from Chris Paul. But, you know, seriously, Greg, he's taken that challenge and made the most of what he's got. A terrific play.
Really, and you know what? He's actually turned that challenge on his head when he goes right at much bigger players and uses their size against them.
Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. And a comfortable margin for the Spurs here, guys.
Not much room to operate offensively. The defense has been stifling through the first.
And they really are just giving them no breathing room out there. They have completely flustered them and set the pace of this game in their favor.
On the floor for San Antonio, the timeless Parker and Manu are the 1 and the 2. Aldridge out there with Green, and it's Gasol and at the 5 roaming the paint.
Well, even with the defense right in his face, Parker is just in his comfort zone down inside with that look.
Feeds it to Griffin. Belton inside the three-point line, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Clippers will retain possession. So for the Clippers, Jamal Crawford, he's checked in for Jordan, and Paul subbed in for Raymond Felton. Unable to get the ball in bounds. They get called for the 5-second violation. Knocked loose, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Redick.
You know what? A low percentage pass on that one, but sometimes it's worth the risk.
Yeah, questionable, but it almost got through. It's probably a quick bucket if it did.
San Antonio leading by 14. Parker outside. And Griffin sends it back.
I love the defensive intensity from Blake Griffin on that play.
Yeah, easy call.
Free throw good, Gasol.
Paul Gasol is closing in on 40, but he can still play. Great on the offensive end in reduced minutes. And the one skill set he has over all the big guys, he's a great passer.
And Gasol averaging a double-double in his last few seasons in the NBA. All-star seasons, by the way. Steve, very hard to do for a guy his age.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't get mentioned enough with Paul Gasol, his longevity. You forget that he came into this league at 21. He's been in the league over 15 years in this league and has never had a bad season.
Los Angeles calls timeout.
Cannot be happy with how things have gone during this run. I think it's a good decision to take a break.
He just needs to slow the pace of this game and get his players under control here.
Here is Paul. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. The feed to Redick. And here in the second with about a minute and a half gone by. And again, no good by the Clippers.
Solid rebound there. And with the score like it is, that's an area where they can't afford to get lazy.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
Here's Paul. Pass to Mba'amute. Will it go? He feeds it to Griffin. And there's a whistle that goes on Luke Mba'amute. That's his first foul.
And that's an aggressive play to try to get the rebound. Just a little too aggressive.
And Parker, here we go. Griffin with some nice D. Clippers trail by 20. Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively for sure.
Reddick for three, nailed from three-point land. Reddick's got his first 3 points of the game.
Whenever Reddick skies up for a three-pointer, you just think it's going in. He is as efficient as they come.
Gasol, a screen on Paul. Parker dishes to Aldridge. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. And the Spurs lead by 19.
They are just killing them on the interior.
He gets a chance now to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, guys, we know Greg Popovich uses a lot of different tools to motivate his players. Sometimes it's the things he doesn't say that works best. Popovich said, sometimes in timeouts, I'll say, I've got nothing for you. We just turned it over 6 times. Everybody's holding the ball. What do you want me to do? Figure it out. Now get up and walk away. Because it's true. It's on them. Kevin?
Thanks, D.A. That accountability goes a long way. Smitty, you're a proud alum of Michigan State. Great school, great program. You contributed to help build the Clara Bell Smith Student Athletic Academic Center there on campus, one of the great facilities in all of college basketball. When you think back on your college experience, is the NBA's 1 year and out high school requirement enough, or would you like to see a change in that regard?
You know, I think it goes player by player, situation by situation, Kevin. I can speak for me. After 3 years, I was not ready, on the court or off the court.
That surprises me to hear you say that.
After 4 years, I thought I was ready pretty much on the court, but off the court, you're really never ready to have the challenges out of basketball.
So you like the 4 years. You thought that was huge for you playing.
For me personally, I like the 4 years.
Catching up on the changes for the Clippers. Spates checked in for Griffin. Pierce comes in for Mba'amoute. Wesley Johnson's checked in for J.J. Redick. And it's Rivers in for Chris Paul. Mills. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And the Spurs organization, really the gold standard in the NBA. Greg, they just keep winning.
You have to be impressed with how they've acquired young star talent to kind of carry on that tradition. Usually when teams have their stars retire, they go through that rebuild phase. The Spurs only revamp and reload.
And last season we had Kobe's retirement, but in the offseason we said goodbye to another legend, the terrific Tim Duncan. You know, Greg, there was talk he might hang it up, and he felt that he didn't have any more in him and called it a career after 19 incredible record-breaking seasons.
Yeah, and Timmy retired in the most Duncan way possible. Just quietly let it happen in the midst of the summer. No farewell tour or any of that. A big hit to the game of basketball to see one of the all-time greats walk away, but arguably one of the best two-way players to have ever played the game.
Outstanding job looking for his teammate and connecting with him with a flawless pass.
Here's Spates and the rejection by Leonard. Now here's Mills. He's guarded by Rivers. The basket drops and he gets fouled on the shot. 1 free throw coming his way.
And not hard to see why they are giving up points on this run. Just too many good looks from in close.
Raymond Felton, he's checked in for Jamal Crawford.
Well, going into the 2011 draft, the Spurs said it was a tough decision to trade away George Hill in exchange for the pick that became Kawhi Leonard. No remorse on that one now, though. Once again, the Spurs struck gold as Kawhi has developed into a true superstar.
Now here's Pierce. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one, and they will call over the back on the play.
Second foul of the first half. They have a decision to make now. Leave him in or have him take a seat.
And with Kawhi Leonard, who is the high school Mr. California basketball, interesting to look, Greg, at all the things he's done. Looking back and realize he was only lightly recruited coming out of high school.
Yeah, and he committed early to San Diego State and stuck with them once the bigger schools came calling. The ankles were an issue. I think that might have caused his draft stock to fall a bit in 2011. Only ended up going 15th in that draft, but in hindsight, probably the best player from that class.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it.
No clue where that pass was going. That is a brutal turnover.
The Spurs have gone 7 of 11 from the field in the second quarter. Now here's Mills. He's tightly guarded. And there's the call on Austin Rivers. That will get him his 4th foul of the game, and due to the bonus, we will head to the line for 2. And around the NBA, Steve, there seems to be a general feeling, I guess, dislike, if you want to call it that, of the Clippers from other fan bases. A lot of it seems to stem from the idea that perhaps the team flops too much and they complain too much.
Yeah, I think it's the whining. But also, I think a lot of fans weren't happy with how the Clippers was able to keep DeAndre Jordan and steal them from the Mavericks. They weren't happy about that situation.
Now here's Spates to stop the run. Pierce kicks to Felton. 5 on the clock. The 3 from Johnson. And that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. Johnson's got 5.
And Johnson is known to shoot threes from time to time. He can make that one.
Here's Mills. The Clippers grab the miss.
I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup.
No good from Spates.
That was a huge face-off at the rim. 2 great competitors. Defense took it.
6 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Leonard against Johnson. Takes the 13-footer. Offensive rebound. A second chance effort. Outside, Green. Buries the long-range jumper.
Beautiful pass that helped set up his teammate perfectly.
Kicks to Spates. And the slam dunk by Spates.
Textbook, nice pass, great catch, even better finish.
So as we conclude the first half, so far fairly one-sided. It's San Antonio running away with this one. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks. Hal, what have your areas of emphasis been tonight in the first half?
I just had to be aggressive from the beginning, take the shots that were there, move the ball, we're being unselfish. We were defending better in the first quarter, and we were able to knock down the shots.
So far, so good, pal. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half momentarily.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here once again, joined by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We welcome you back to the halftime show on 2K Sports. It was all about San Antonio as the game got going. They showed tremendous effort and drove the action early, starting off with a 9-2 run. Good work for them all around as they controlled the tempo, leading by 14 at the end of 1. Then in quarter number 2, it was all hands on deck, and what a show it was. Quality execution, good efficiency, some tremendous defensive play helped them take a decisive advantage, and they're running away with this one. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
That was the half of the super sub for them. A lot of offense coming off the bench, and that's such a luxury to have that kind of firepower available. There were times when the pace picked up when the second unit came into the game. And that's the best part, having a bunch of guys who's ready at the drop of a hat.
And over to Shaq. Now your take on the Clippers.
Well, Ernie, they had a ton of fouls. Jeez. And the points they gave up at the free throw line added up in a hurry. They got to calm down during the break and play much more control in the second half.
And that about wraps it up.
That's a bird's eye view of the Staples Center at sunset. Gorgeous, isn't it, with all of Los Angeles in the background. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everybody. Third quarter just about to get going here in what has been so far a runaway game. It's been a clinic from Patty Mills.
Well, anytime you can get to the free throw line with that kind of consistency, that just makes every other facet of the game easy.
Well, once you know that the only defense they can offer is fouling you, the game is yours.
Redick and Bamute make up the perimeter. The dunkers, Griffin and Jordan, are the bigs. And it's Paul in at the 1 spot. That's the 5 to begin the second half for Doc Rivers. Drops in the tray.
CP3 moving the basketball around. That's what you want out of your point guard.
Parker against Paul. Mbamute with the steal. Griffin passes to Mbamute. And the wide open shot from Redick. His 3-pointers off the mark.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
Los Angeles has gone 1 of 2 from beyond the arc since coming out of the break. And for all the leadership and his mental toughness, Chris Paul has said that he won't be a coach when it's all said and done for him as a player. Steve, a bit surprising as you think he'd be a fantastic coach.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of those guys that, yeah, right now he said he doesn't want to be a coach. Coaching isn't for everybody. But at the end, yeah, I think Chris Paul still might look at that coaching.
Shots good by Green.
Yeah, and that's what you want from your point guard. Parker distributing the ball wonderfully on that possession.
Los Angeles calls timeout.
And they've gotten good looks, you know, so that's one reason they're frustrated. Maybe he can come up with something to get them an easy one, maybe get to the line.
Yeah, he has to get his offense moving again. It hasn't been bad, but it could be much better.
Manu Ginobili's checked in for Green, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it.
That's what happens when nothing goes your way. You start to lose focus, and it makes matters worse.
And the Clippers making a change here. Crawford's checked in. Paul against Parker. And Leonard has it in the corner. A three-pointer off the mark. Los Angeles has gone 3 of 6 tonight when they've let it fly from downtown. Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, guys, we all know about the championships that the Spurs have won, but it's their culture that is admired around the league. Coach Popovich said, "I've been fortunate with the guys I've had come through here. My job is pretty easy when people have that character. You don't have to convince them to get over themselves or to feel responsible to each other. It makes it easier to have a team that enjoys playing together." Evan?
All right, DA, thanks. Being modest certainly is Coach Pop. He chose the players who fit, certainly.
DeAndre Jordan is just a physical specimen, an incredible defender and shot blocker, as well as a fearless and intimidating dunker.
Now, here's Parker. He has 7. The shot comes out. Paul with the defensive effort. For Los Angeles, they've gone only 1 of 5 from the field since halftime. Very slow start offensively.
It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Parker drives in and out of bounds as the Clippers gain possession. Steve, now that it's all said and done, when you look back in your career, do you have one of those single moments that stand out as your favorite?
Yeah, I think my favorite for me is probably on draft night. And then I think the moment that he retired. So everything in between, and the good and the bad. A lot of people point to the championships and all-star and the gold medals. But I think the relationships, the ups and downs, the injuries, just everything, it shapes you as a young man.
One of the, going with the saying that the journey is the reward.
It's totally right, Kevin. I mean, that journey, a lot of people don't get a chance to have that journey. So you want to appreciate even the things that didn't go so well.
Yeah, great perspective. Now here is Aldridge. 6 points for him. And that basket's going to count, folks. Gets the goaltending call right there.
Yeah, it looks like he got to that shot just after it reached its apex. Those can be tough ones to gauge.
Raymond Felton, he's checked in for Chris Paul. San Antonio also making some changes. Dwayne Dedmon's checked in for Gasol. Kyle Anderson comes in for Leonard. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. Well, Griffin, Steve, might be the most well-known of players in the NBA just because of how marketable he is. You see him a ton in commercials, and he really is one of the biggest faces in the league.
Well, he's one of those guys. You see him in a lot of guest spot appearances on comedy shows, and he's fit right in. A playful guy. And also, when you can have the jumping ability that Blake Griffin has, a lot of people want to market you.
Paul Pierce is checked in for the Clippers. Picked him clean. Here's Dedmon, guarded by Jordan. Anderson kicks to Ginobili. The leaner inside to the middle, stolen by Pierce. Here's Felton. That one a tad offline to the right, but drops in for him. Here's Mills. He's got 15. The Clippers grab the miss. Jordan's got rebound number 8 now on the night. Crawford dishes to Redick. Cans the shot with nobody near him. Redick's got 10 points.
That's Redick shooting in a nutshell. A quick trigger release once he gets his hands on the ball.
Now here's Mills. He's covered by Felton. Mills can't hit.
No other way to put it. Just a poor shooting performance for him. But luckily, his teammates have picked up the slack.
And it's sent back by Aldridge. And Mills kicks to Ginobili. Nice pass. Led him to the rack perfectly for the layup. He's got 6.
I'm sorry, that's poor defense down low again. It's been a mismatch thus far in the paint.
Los Angeles calls timeout. You know, it's interesting, the classy LaMarcus Aldridge, first drafted by Chicago, then the rights traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. You know, Greg, he was seen as a complimentary piece initially to their stars, but by the time he left, many wondered also, he's now a superstar, but could he embrace a smaller role, especially a smaller scoring role with the San Antonio Spurs?
And it shows how far he came during his time in Portland. Last season, some of the lowest minutes and points per game of his career, but he was efficient, rebounded and blocked shots at a higher clip, and he wanted a chance to compete at the highest level.
He could not have threaded that bounce pass better. Sensational play.
Here's Mills, 15 points in the game. He dishes it to Dedmon. Ginobili outside. With some arc. He lays it in.
I don't know what's happening defensively, but they're not putting up any resistance.
The Clippers have gone a somewhat subpar 4 of 10 on their shots in the second half so far. Now here's Rivers. He has 5. They grab their own miss. Here's the pass to Jordan. Mills with the steal. Oh, and here comes Anderson all alone. And the call will be against LaMarcus Aldridge. That's foul number 2 for him. Spates checked in for the Clippers. And Bahamute comes in for Paul Pierce. The Spurs also with the sub. Green, he's checked in for Manu Ginobili. Spates. And that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. Felton's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. San Antonio's gotten blank from three-point land so far in the third. Still 0 for 3. Now here's Mills. Outside, Green. From deep three-point range. Misses there. The 3 quarters of play all in the books, and this one all but over already. It's San Antonio running away with it. And time for the short break, and stay right where you are. The 4th quarter is coming up next. Getting underway here in the 4th quarter. The scoreboard tells the story in this matchup, but we'll see how much things change up here. San Antonio's gone 3 of 7 tonight from three-point territory. On the court for San Antonio, they've got Anderson. Simmons is out there with Murray. Then it's David Lee, and it's Bertans in at the small forward.
Not shot from outside. There's no doubt about that. Spreading the floor and getting them up.
Now here's Simmons. Johnson with the block. Here's Murray. And that one goes long. And Los Angeles guys shooting at 36%. They really seem out of sync offensively. And then Johnson with the dunk.
That's just an awesome assist. Really paced the ball in their ideal spot.
The Spurs have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start the 4th quarter. Murray dishes to Lee. Takes a 3. But they'll get another chance.
Just enough coverage to bother that three-point attempt.
Lee with the block. 4 on 3 as they bring it up. Here's Murray. And it's wide right. Hits off the rim.
And if the shot's not there, you've got to understand that. Move the basketball.
Those types of shots are low quality. You're not going to win too many friends on that one.
And there's a whistle that goes on Luke Mbamute. That'll be his 2nd foul of the game. Paul Pierce is checked in for Mbamute. San Antonio's gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the 4th. Murray kicks to Anderson. Rejected by Pierce. Oh, and here comes Anderson all alone. Pull-up jumper. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron. And we've made our way through just over a minute and a half in this fourth quarter. Now here's Murray. He's covered closely. Lee kicks to Simmons. Here's Anderson, and the officials whistle a foul on the shot.
Good.
The bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
Shooting one.
So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Pau Gasol's checked in for Lee. Leonard comes in for Bertans. Manu Ginobili, he's checked in for Jonathan Simmons. And Tony Parker is subbed in for Murray. And that one drops. 9 points for DeAndre Jordan.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Leonard against Crawford. Leonard the pass to Anderson. It's good, and he drew contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play chance here.
Shooting one.
That one misses for Anderson.
Doc Rivers, one of the best in the business. His strength as a coach is first, he has great job relating with the players. X's and O's, he is superb. And I think for him is he does a good job of being able to call plays on the fly.
Now here's Gasol. Parker dishes to Leonard. 4 on the shot clock. Launches a 3. The shot that time not on target. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. Poke loose. Ginobili attacking, and he banks in the layup. The adjustments of Doc Rivers, Smitty, you talked about, are what stand out to me. He'll switch who initiates the offense if he feels there is a mismatch to be taken advantage of in a heartbeat.
I think he has a great feel for the game, and he can see plays develop, and also on the fly, change up the offense, change up the defense, and after timeouts, he's one of the best in the business.
San Antonio's gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the fourth quarter. There's Parker with the 3. Griffin grabs the board.
He just can't get it cranked up and beyond the arc. No threes in this half after just hitting 1 in the first.
And the Clippers making a switch here. Johnson's checked in. Spurs also with the sub. Mills is checked in. Now here's Paul. Jordan kicks to Paul. Rebound San Antonio.
See, when you're going into the teeth of the defense, you have to go harder. Soft lay-in won't cut it.
Jordan against Gasol. Paul grabs the board for Los Angeles. They've gone 3 of 7 from the floor in the fourth. That's a 42% mark in the quarter. And Redick kicks to Jordan. Kicks it out to Johnson. Leonard with the steal. We've got 1:48 left to play in the final quarter. Pass to Mills. Back to Leonard. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Well, the first thing comes to mind when you think about the Los Angeles Clippers is offense. But they had a very good defense. They were fantastic on that end, and it was led by DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul.
For the Clippers, Spates checked in for DeAndre Jordan. And Bahamute comes in for Blake Griffin. And it's Felton in for Chris Paul. And San Antonio also making a switch. Simmons checked in for Tony Parker.
And really, Gasol does an incredible job getting his hands up in the air, which results in a ton of rejection.
Now here's Mills. Out left to the wing. Clock at 6. No good from Simmons. Speaking of the Clippers, Steve, and their defensive prowess, they do protect the rim well. They block shots. DeAndre Jordan, certainly one of the best in the business there. But it goes much beyond that with their D.
They do a great job of getting a hand in the face of shooters. Second best in the league last year for opposing teams' field goal percentages. Clippers just don't get enough credit for being a strong defensive team.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it. Just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for the Spurs.
You don't see this kind of a blowout often, but tonight this is a quality win across the board to deliver out this kind of punishment.
They definitely never changed the approach. They just kept after it and showed they were clearly the better team in just about every single category. And you have to look back at this and see the huge game it was for Pau Gasol.
There was some vitality to his game tonight. No let up at either end of the floor, totally relentless, and that effort was contagious. It's what inspired them to this win here.
Here's Leonard. There's the dish to Anderson. The 11-footer, and it's Spates with the rebound. Inabamute kicks to Johnson. Here's Spates. That's in there. Johnson with the assist. And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.